What's up, everybody? ShadyXIXV here, coming at you with your first Week 14 preview, pick'em the 2020 NFL season. Now, like I said, I want my videos to be multi, so we're going NFL today, and got a couple of picks in here that you would probably understand and guess, yeah, that's pretty much what I would pick too. But I also got spread, so if you want to hear that out as well, if you're doing any bets, I'm giving my personal input on what we should be doing a little bit. So let's get right into it. And yes, I'm rocking a Carson Wentz number, but this is actually personalized with my last name on the back. So it's not an actual Wentz jersey. We'll get into that game. But game number one, and I have my picks right here. Game number one, Thursday Night Football tonight. We're going to get into that one first because it is only 8 hours away probably by the time this video goes up. New England Patriots going to LA to take on the Rams. New England has its woes this season. We all know that. Belichick and that New England offense has not looked the same since Brady left, and we all know it. We'll get into Tampa Bay as well and how they looked with Brady when we get to that game. But with New England and everything that they're going through, they're going to LA. LA right now is a 5-point favorite. I'm going to be real with you, New England fans. I don't think you're coming out with this one. I have LA, Jared Goff. They're winning games. They're playing decent. They're playing like a team. And it was, I believe they played Houston last week. It was a close game. It was a fumble at the 4-yard line. I just saw Deshaun Watson or were they playing Indy? Not sure. But the Rams, either way, come out, cover the 5-point spread. I got the Rams going 31-21. Final score. For the 8:20 game tonight. Going on to Sunday, let's start the big games. Houston at the Chicago Bears. Chicago's on, a 7-game losing streak? Mitchell Trubisky's getting the start again. And we all know, Chicago fans, you know as well, you can't trust him. He played good through 3 quarters last week and then just fell apart in the end. So I got Houston going into Chicago, winning that game. They're a 1-point favorite right now. They cover that. Houston over Chicago, 27-17. Game number 2, Dallas at Cincinnati. Now, 2 teams that are struggling fiercely. Cincinnati, of course, losing their rookie Joe Burrow to an ACL, MCL tear for the season. Dallas, Dak Prescott getting injured. You got Andy Dalton going back to face this old team. As an Eagles fan, it is always going to be tough for me to pick Dallas. But I got Dallas beating Cincinnati. They're 3.5 favorites. I have them covering and winning that game 24-14. I think Dallas's defense is going to come together, stop whatever attack Cincinnati's going to throw at them. Dallas gets the win, moves to 4-9. Green Bay at Detroit. A game that is harder to pick than you actually think it is. Now, I know everybody knows Detroit hasn't been doing well this season. Green Bay's been on a tear. But legend is, and you know it just as well as I do, Detroit always plays halfway decent or really good against Green Bay. It doesn't matter if they're 1-10, 10-1, undefeated, no wins. They always end up playing really good or at least decent enough to beat Green Bay when they play each other. Noting that I'm still not picking Detroit. I think Green Bay's too good of a team to lose to Detroit. I do have Green Bay winning, but they are 7.5-point favorites right now. I don't have them covering. I think Detroit's going to make it a close game. It's going to be a 3-4-point game. So that's that. Next game at 1 o'clock, Kansas City at Miami. Another one that you may be wondering why I'm saying what I'm saying. Kansas City's going to Miami. it's not going to be as big of a blowout or Kansas City just going to go run all over Miami. That's not going to happen. Miami's been playing really well. Their defense is good. Their offense has been it's been shooting. It's been looking really, really good. Kansas City had struggles against the Denver defense last week. If that Denver offense would have, started firing at all cylinders, I could have easily saw Kansas City losing last week. With that being said, I don't think Kansas City is going to lose to Miami, but it's going to be a close game. I know Kansas City right now is a 7-point favorite. I do have Kansas City winning, and they're going to cover, but it's going to be close. If you're going to bet the cover, be careful with that, because I can see Miami getting in there, and if they do lose, I can see them only losing by like 3, not 7. But I do have them covering the 7. That'll be the max they lose by. I don't have them getting blown out by more than that. So that's what I got there. Kansas City covering the 7, but be careful. Put a little asterisk there. Minnesota going to Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay now, going back to Tom Brady. He hasn't looked like Tom Brady, which makes beg to differ. It's week 14. Was it Belichick's system that made Tom Brady who he was? Is Tom Brady how he's playing now, even though he's 41, 42? Is how he's playing now how he would have played in New England if it was any other coach? That'll be the debate that everybody has, especially at the end of the season. If Tampa Bay doesn't do anything, if they make it to the playoffs but they get taken out, it's just one of those games and one of those times that you're starting to realize that maybe it is the system, not so much his age. Because when you see him playing good, he's still slinging it around like the best of them. But when he plays bad, I don't think it has to do with his skill set. I think it has to do with the system. But that's just me. Drop down in the comments below if you think Tom Brady isn't a system QB and it actually is his old age. Who knows? Anyway, with this pick, I got Tampa Bay. They're 6.5-point favorites. Minnesota is going on 6-6. They're trying to get above 500 again. They're gonna play their heart outs. I know they are. Dalvin Cook, Kirk Cousins can do what he can do when he's playing well. I got Tampa Bay 6.5-point favorites, but they're not gonna cover. I got Minnesota at least making it a 3-point game. They're gonna keep it close. Denver at Carolina. Two teams that are not really doing pretty well this season. Denver only almost beating Kansas City last week. Like I said, pretty good game. Carolina having their woes, but I do have Carolina 3.5-point favorites to cover. Tennessee at Jacksonville. Jacksonville 1-10. What are you going to do? Easy game to pick. I got Tennessee, Derrick Henry, Ryan Tannehill getting completely demolished the first 3 quarters last week and almost coming back to win from a big deficit. I got Tennessee coming back, getting their revenge on Jacksonville, covering the 7.5-point favorite that they are. There it is. Indianapolis at the Raiders. The Raiders. Indy going to LV. Sorry, I almost said LA, and I almost say Oakland all the time. I'm sorry. But it's just, I've been watching football since 2002 when I actually started comprehending and understanding what it was, and they were always Oakland. So if I say Oakland, I apologize. But Indy going to Oakland. I almost said it again. Indy going to Vegas to play the Raiders. Indy's a 3-point favorite. Phillip Rivers playing with that really bad turf toe. Didn't look too hot last week. The Raiders as well, almost losing to the Jets. If it wasn't for Greg Williams, just mind-boggling call with seconds left in the game. The Jets could have won that game. Saying that, though, I still have the Raiders taking out the Colts. Colts are 3-point favorites. Watch out for that. The next game, we got the Jets at Seattle. I'm not picking the Jets, okay? I just can't pick the Jets, especially against Seattle. I know Seattle only mustered up 8 points against the Giants last week through 3 quarters until they got there in the 4th and still lost. The Giants kind of figured out how to contain that team. Do I think the Jets have enough on defense, personnel-wise and talent-wise, to do the same thing? No. I have Seattle. They're 13.5-point favorites. That loss to the Giants is going to fuel some fire. They're going to take it out on the Jets. Honestly, 13.5 sounds like a lot. It's not. I got Seattle covering that 13.5. Take Seattle. And now, my next game on the list. My team, Philly. Saints, Drew Brees might be coming back to play the Eagles this weekend in Philadelphia. We all know the dilemmas going on in Philly. At least I do, to an extent, and I know every Eagles fan knows as well. Carson Wentz getting the boot to the bench, Jalen Hurts getting the start this week. I think it's going to give a fire to that offense. I think they're going to make it competitive. They might even have the lead at some points in this game. But as much as an Eagles fan as I am, I've seen every game. I've watched the highlights. I've watched the way they play. I know it was with Carson Wentz. I know we're struggling with injuries, and I know Jalen Hurts kind of looked halfway decent against the Packers last week in the second half. It's the Saints. When the Saints go marching in, when the Saints go marching. Yeah, I got New Orleans taking out Philadelphia. Philly dropping to 3-9 and 1, and 6.5 point favorites New Orleans. Like I said, I think Philly will make it competitive. I don't have the Saints covering the 6.5. Another 3-point game. Next, Atlanta at the Chargers. LA just got completely blown out last week. Do I think they'll come back and beat Atlanta this week? No. I got Atlanta 2.5 point favorites to cover. Justin Herbert looking good. Didn't look good last week. Defense looked terrible. They got shut out. It was just terrible for Chargers fans, and I apologize that you guys had to go through that. But as an Eagles fan, I kind of feel you. I kind of get it. So Atlanta 2.5 point favorites. I got them covering. Next, we got Washington at San Francisco. Now, I have Washington winning the NFC East. I know the Giants are doing great. I know Washington, with Alex Smith coming back and their fans wanting them to win that division. I do have them winning that division on the fact that Alex Smith came back. He's playing really well. They're going into San Francisco. San Francisco, I believe, is going to be without Jimmy G again. Their defense isn't the best. Washington's been clicking on all cylinders lately. I have Washington going into San Francisco as the underdog and taking out the 49ers. San Francisco 3.5 point favorite. I have Washington beating them. There was one game I actually missed. Arizona at the Giants. Another division game. Well, division-esque implications when it comes to that one. Arizona going to New York. I think even though New York's been clicking, their defense has been looking good. Again, like I said, they beat the Seahawks last week. I don't see them beating Arizona. 6-6. Arizona's going to have a plane. They're fighting for a playoff spot. They know they want it. Kyler Murray, I like the guy. I'm going Arizona 1.5 point favorites. They're going to easily cover that. So we got that out of the way. Next one that I didn't do is the Sunday night game. We got Pittsburgh at Buffalo. Good job, Pittsburgh. You lost to a team with no name. Pittsburgh 11-1 going into Buffalo. This is going to be, I believe, their toughest game this year so far. Yes, they played the Ravens twice. Yes, division, they beat them barely. And one game, they barely had any starters, the Ravens. So Pittsburgh, biggest tough is going to be going to Buffalo. Buffalo's 2.5 point favorites. I got Buffalo covering that. I don't think Pittsburgh goes 11-2. They're 0-2 these next 2 weeks. This last week they lost, and this week they're going to lose. I just don't have them winning. I can't see it. The way that they've been playing, that, as they would say in Among Us, Pittsburgh was an imposter. I'll just leave it at that. And lastly, our Monday night game, Baltimore at Cleveland. Tougher game for me to pick. Even though Baltimore has been playing well and Cleveland's been clicking on all cylinders as well, just one of those things that is another tough game for me to pick. But in the end, Baltimore, Lamar Jackson, 7-5. I believe they're going to have some fire to keep pushing toward the playoffs and, secure that playoff spot. Cleveland, 9-3, playing really well. Prime time, Baker Mayfield, Odell Beckham, yada, yada, yada. Oh, Odell's out, sorry. But Baker Mayfield, that whole offense, Nick Chubb, that defense been playing really well. But in the end, 1 point favorite, Baltimore Ravens. I got them covering Baltimore over Cleveland, Monday Night Football. So those are my picks. Let's go down. I got the Rams to cover. I got Houston to cover. I got Dallas to cover. I got Green Bay, but they're not going to cover. I got Kansas City to cover barely. I'd watch out for that pick if you were to bet not to cover. It wouldn't be a bad bet either. Miami, really good. I got Arizona to cover. I got Tampa Bay over Minnesota, but not to cover. I got Carolina to cover, Tennessee to cover. I got Vegas upsetting the Colts. I have New Orleans not to cover against Philadelphia. We have Atlanta covering over the Chargers. We have Washington beating San Francisco at home, upset. Buffalo over Pittsburgh to cover. Baltimore over Cleveland to cover. Those are my picks for this week. Hopefully you guys enjoyed listening to that, going through a little bit. And yeah, we'll see what the games pan out starting tonight. Even though I picked the Eagles to lose, you know, let's go Philly. Let's go Philly. Drop down in the comments anything else you would like to see from me. Definitely something like that. And then I'll be coming at you most likely in the next couple of days with another video, maybe another food review. We'll see what goes on. But as for now, I'm ShadyXIXV of One Stop Vids, and I will catch you all on the flip side. Later.